Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to the Deceptilab, and welcome to my weekly live stream. And today we are going to talk a little bit about the 4-star Titan event. You know, it's finally here. We're going to be getting Scorponok on the Decepticon side, Fort Max on the Autobot side. That's my hit. And yeah, man, like everybody's excited. I saw lots of teams getting putting together. You know, lots of alliance families working together to make sure that as many people as possible can get this Titan. So we're going to talk about that event a little bit. Looking pretty exciting, and we're also going to talk about, you know what, the question that I've been getting the most this week. I've been getting a lot of questions about combats, and particularly in how they relate to the current meta. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today as well. And if we got enough time, we're going to take a look at the two new combats that are going to be coming into the game next week. And that's going to be Big Daddy for the Autobot side and Groundhog for the Decepticon side. And I'll give you my first thoughts about it. I hadn't actually talked about it yet. Still in the last little stages of testing, but so far it seems like we're pretty close to where it's finalized. So we'll talk about that a little bit too. But before we do any of that, let's jump into this week's newsletter, where we're gonna have the event called Influx. So it's season 10, week 3 of the saga. And like I already mentioned, Titans this week, Fort Max for the Autobot, Scorponok for us on the con side. And yeah, you know, if you want to compete in that event, hopefully you already made arrangements by now. But it's a 1,750,000 event. And then let's take a look at some of the prizes you'll get. If you complete the event, you'll get that 4-star Fort Max Scorponok. And then you're going to have 1,650 of the 5-star shards, 5,200 4-star shards, 13K of your 3-star shards, and 60K of your premium crystal shards, 325,000 combiner spark and regular spark. And then you're going to get a bunch of bot building G1 and transmetal, G-metal power cores. And you're going to get some battle boost, some MK3 battle boost. So yeah, typical event chart. They got everything spread pretty evenly. I felt like there were some kind of odd numbers in there. Not like odd by the dictionary definition, but like it's a little bit different when you start talking about 1650 of 5-star charts. But it's a lot of 5-star charts. So I think everybody's going to be happy about that. Nice long list of prizes. And all of that ends 4-star Titan part. Typical battle zones and some updates with the game. So there's going to be a new support system. So when you're going to do like any kind of trouble tickets or anything, there's this link that they put out today. They actually talked about it on Discord earlier today. But yeah, you know, that's going to be the new way of getting any kind of tickets or anything done, as opposed to going through the email address. Thanking everybody for their feedback. And there's going to be a new welcome achievement for new players. And they hadn't been able to claim the welcome achievement, so there's been some adjustments to that. And then some of the big news for the week is, so with the content push tomorrow on Thursday, it's going to be the Power Core Exchange that everybody's been waiting for the last couple of weeks is going to be up and running. And so let's go down some, because it tells you a little bit about converting the cores. So basically, the way that it works is that you're going to take one of the exact same core, and you're going to have to put them together. I think they got a couple of charts down here, and it's also on the wiki. So say for me personally, I need to go get for me, I want to get target protocol cores on defense, right? That's the example we'll use. So I want to get G metal of these target protocol cores, right? So in order to do that, I'll have to exchange 10 bot gold cores, and they have to all be target protocols, and then I would get one G metal bot core. So I think they only, excuse me, one G metal target protocol core. Um, so I think it's going to be an amazing feature. I did hear some concerns earlier saying that it might be a little bit too expensive, but I find that fair. And I tell you why that's good for the game. It's good for the game because a lot of times you're just using a lot of those gold cores, a lot of those silver cores as food. Now you can actually see on the chart that silver cores will get you gold cores and so on and so forth, but you have to get like 5 of those. So actually go in the newsletter and read the chart. But I do feel it's good for the game because now all of those golds that they give us at the end of the events, when they give us 5 or 10 gold cores, they're now going to have more value because you can use them specifically to get something that you actually want, and it helps speed up the process of getting cores that you want so that you can use them for things that you want to use them for in the game. So for me, I definitely want those for more defensive than anything else. All right. So also in the newsletter, they're talking about Apple. For the Apple users, are going to be some price increases. I looked at it a little bit yesterday because they did post that on Discord yesterday, and it seems like in certain countries, um, there's going to be basically a tax increase for Apple users. There's a link in the newsletter. If you want to check that out. If I can remember, I'll actually put the newsletter in the description section so you guys can get to it if you haven't seen it already. So we got a question in the chat says, would it be possible for me to get a gold breakdown core by using silver breakdown cores? As they explained it for that feature, yeah, that's exactly how it would work. You would use your silver cores and you would go get your breakdown. So it's going to work for as long as it's the exact same core. So it's going to work for G1s, it's going to work for building cores, it's going to work for bot cores, it's going to work for everything. All right, so some new UI updates they're talking about, and the biggest thing is Texas Hammer provided some graphics, and basically what it's showing is that a lot of times when you go into war and somebody's got the Titan and it's got Titan effects, you can't see what the Titan effects are for different things that you're scouting. So when you go into the scouting screen, they're now going to have these different little symbols up there to show all of the different increases that you're getting from the Titan. And all you have to do, what it looks like is like you have to go click on it so that you can see. And like it's got some good examples up here. Like I like the one that is showing up here with the self repair core on the, what is that? It's like that's multi defense system. And then you can see all of the individual things. So actually, they got it highlighted for the shock tower. As you click on each one, you can see all of the different increases that it's getting for the shock tower. So you'll be able to do that for all the different defenses. So you'll know exactly what to expect. All right, so let's see. So with a new, it's going to be a new update with a tech tree. So the max tech tree level is going to be reduced from 200 to 170. And also, if you have all of the perks maxed out, then you're going to be capped at 20 additional points. So I imagine that means that with Scorponok coming out and Fort Max coming out, that there's going to be some new tech tree perks that come out, and they don't want us to all. They don't want anybody to have all that stuff the very first day, which I'm not exactly pleased with, but I do understand why it would be like that. So that's where we are with that. As far as the Titan goes, Texas Hammer gave his thoughts for the 4-star Fort Max and Scorponok. And basically, a lot of it boils down to the Titan perk that you get. I've talked about it on the stream before, but Scorponok and Fort Max are going to be more focused on the EMP effects and amplifying those. And so he starts giving a list of which bots are going to be affected, and you know, says that he ran a couple of battles, and that well, his text, he ran a lot of battles, and what it turned into is that Fort Max was winning, at compared to Metroplex. So maybe it has a lot more to do with the actual abilities that's causing that, because power wise, your Fort Max is the same as Metroplex. Same thing for Tripticon and Scorponok. As always, check out all of your content creators. So they got us up here, on the official side listed: Engineer Horse, myself, Soldier, and Sunstreaker Waza. But at the same time, it's a lot of really, really good unofficial content creators out here. Just Elite, well, whose live streams also on Wednesdays. He was on a little bit earlier. I got to sit in there and chat with him a little bit. We're actually working in the same alliance this weekend for the 4-star Titan. You got Mercenary Terror, who was the first one, I believe, in the chat today. Really, really solid content right now. And he's just got his community tab, so congratulations to him for that. There's actually a lot of them in here. Grim Studios got some stuff. Unicronus got some stuff, and they're all in the chat right now as well. So welcome. Community Corner, as always, some neat artwork. Really like that Predaking. All right, so Saga schedule is week 3 out of 8. I'm actually really looking forward to the next week. The batch break is finally coming next week for the combat bots. That means I will be getting my 5-star fracas next week. And unfortunately, since that's going to be on a Thursday, I won't be able to live stream that, but I'll probably make a video on my Crystal Kraken. But today, I want to talk about what my strategy is after that batch break. We can talk combat bots in general. Bug fixes and improvements. So this list is starting to get smaller, and I think it's a lot of more bodies on the Space Ape developer team right now. But this list is getting smaller, and I'm really appreciative for that. So let's look at it real quick. Sidetrack, Growl. They were staying on the field. When you deploy your combiner, that's supposed to be fixed. Trip up and roller force, getting stuck certain areas, that's supposed to be fixed. They also think the same thing is happening with Blaster and Soundwave. Dinobot and Dinobot 2, they're aware that they're not popping the combiner beacon. I'm not sure if that's something that is intended. They didn't say they were going to fix it, so I'm kind of wondering where they were going with that. More to follow. They had some reports that air raid special ability fusion bomb wasn't doing any damage in Cybertron or below. They're finding it working properly. So if you got any bugs that you're seeing on your end, please send those videos, those replays, send it to me, send it to Space Ape, so that we can get that bug fixed if that's something that you're seeing. Firefly and Blast Off, and then 6-Gun and Trigger Happy. They've been testing their abilities about them not being able to cast on the edge of an area. They were able to, during their internal testing, cast in those areas. So same thing applies. If you have a problem, please just send out the videos verified with Space Ape. And if you do it soon, tomorrow Space Ape is going to be on their stream, so you can go on there and complain about it. So yeah, that's all we got this week for the news. All right, so let's take a look at the chat. See who, and I already named off some names in here, but let's see who we got in there right now. All right, so like I said, Mercenary Terror was in there first. I saw Lord Avix in there a little bit earlier. Saw Matt Polly, Alpha Trion 1, Chris Harmon, Just Elite is in there. And let's see. A lot of chatting. We got Big Blade in here as well from Studios. Mr. Godzilla Battle, another content creator I left out when I was talking about earlier. So welcome. Let's see. Unicronus, I already mentioned. Thanks for joining. That Professional Husky, another content creator we got out here. Thanks for joining. Sunstreaker Waza is down there. So good to see him in there. Let's see, make sure. Let me see if I got anybody lurking in there that hadn't talked yet. Victory Star Saber, another content creator, is in here. So Lord Agrippa is in here as well. So yeah, thanks to all you guys for joining. All right, so right now I'm on my live account, and what I want to talk about, and I'm gonna move a little cursor over the other side. I want to talk about some of these combat bots, man, because and eventually I'll probably break down into a really detailed video at some point. But I'll be honest with you, man. I've been getting a lot of questions, and I've been getting a lot of questions from folks, pretty much from folks not necessarily paying attention to what's going on in the meta and paying attention to what's going on when the new combats come out. So let's take a look at what we got. Because here, batch we got coming, and I need to, before I do anything, I need to open up, go ahead and accept my free crystals and free chips. While I do that, I want to apologize to everyone because I was supposed to be making more videos and releasing them over the weekend, and it turns out when I was on my last live stream last week, now typically because I got so many group chats going and everything like that, typically I put my phone on do not disturb, and when I did that this time, turned out that my son, who was at a doctor's appointment, my oldest son, he ended up going to the emergency room, and then he's wound up being hospitalized for basically this entire week. He's actually still in there now. He's gonna be fine, but just some precautionary measures that they were taking for some stuff that he had going on. So yeah, let's see. But yeah, I'm gonna get back into it. Busy week this week because man, I started a new job this week, so that was cool. Um, Son's got a basketball tournament this weekend, so that'll be our entire day on Saturday. But yeah, but thanks for the well wishes in the chat for my son. My son is also my Discord admin, so um, it's been funny. I've been dealing with a lot, but not a lot of issues. Our server's pretty chill, but I've been dealing with a couple of small issues. I've been dealing with them by myself, so he needs to come back and run my Discord server. But all right, so let's see. So I'm looking at the newest batch. This batch should be set to break next weekend, and I can't wait, or next Thursday with the content push. And one of the things that I've really been looking at is how I'm going to strategize this going forward. Just because, if you guys have been following me for a little bit, and I'm actually gonna move my head out of his way so you can see him. My goal is to get this guy right there on the end, get Fracus. And so what we're waiting for is we're waiting for Growl, Sidetrack to enter the batch so that the batch will break in half because that'll make it a perfect 10 and they can have 2 batches of 5 for the time being. I'll have to work quickly to go get Fracus. And for those of you on the Autobot side who don't have Nightstick, that'll be the time to do it because as they continue to add combat bots to the batch, then it's going to your odds essentially are gonna go down, and they're gonna keep going down until it hits another batch of 10. So what we're gonna be looking at is Growl is gonna be one, and that'll be what will eventually end up being Legacy 6. So that'll be Growl and Sidetrack, Fracas and Nightstick, Zori, and I believe that's Sawtooth, Roller Force and Trip Up, and then it'll be Baru and Windstrike will be the 5 in that batch. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, that batch, when it becomes a batch of 5, it's gonna be absolutely amazing. If I'm being honest with you, Roller Force works now. You know, Trip Up works now. Um, Even though we did see that there's a bug fix that's got to go in right now, or them kind of wandering off and getting stuck on certain things, the speed up effect now works. So yeah, that's what we got going on. Honestly, in that batch, I definitely want Fracas. I'm gonna use 4-star and 5-star Fracas. Zora is a nice to have. Roller Force, I got as a 4-star, so he's getting the job done. I don't want to just say Roller Force is a nice to have, but technically that's kind of the right term to use because I don't have to have him, but it would be really, really good to have him and get a little bit more of a speed burst. And Baru is a real nice to have as well. For those that are using Baru and Strike, just because it's a pretty hefty damage increase for Baru. It's not something that I'm necessarily going to chase that hard. So that batch I'm really, really impressed with. However, my plan is what I think I'm gonna do is I'm just going to chase Fracas. And so we'll start off talking about why I'm so high on Fracas, because honestly, I've talked to some people didn't know he was even that good, which is I was surprised about because in this fire and acid meta, you would think that would be the way to go for most people. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Um, let's see. Big Blade says everybody's going to be at the Growl. Yeah, everybody's going to be at the Growl. And here's the thing for me, I really like Growl a lot. Defense, and I love that they actually love the majority of the combat bots that came out this year. To be honest, and you know, when I look at a combat bot, you know, especially the minions, they started making the minions really, really nice this go around. But then I started looking around, and I said, man, this thing's really, really powerful. Some might say that Growl is too powerful. I disagree. I think it's pretty well balanced for the meta. And I like him, and I really, really wouldn't mind having him when the batch breaks. But I'm not convinced that I'm gonna pursue him. I'm gonna pursue Fracas. So that means if I gotta use every last one of my chips to get Fracas, I will. That's not ideal for me. I've had to clear a lot of batches for different stuff, man. And what I would like to do is I would like to get Fracas early, and then I want to decide if there's another batch I want to go into, and I'll talk about that in a minute because there's a particular batch that's been around for a little bit that I think a lot of us are overlooking for a lot of key pieces. So we'll come back to that. And so here we're going to be using Knockout. And I actually want to show you my loadout for Knockout. So here, and I've been getting into a lot of arguments with people about this. Well, not arguments. I don't argue. I'm a pretty chill guy. But this is my loadout for Knockout. Ability 11, Toxic Strike. This guy's at level 67. I put him at level 67 last event. So he's maxed out. Alchemist Prime Core because, and let's be honest, I'm going to be using the AoE from the Toxic Strike. Toxic Strike is going to do the additional damage of 3 times damage to the walls and to minions and everything like that. So the Alchemist Prime Core is going to get even more of a healing boost going on, and it makes it really, really tough to makes them tough to kill, man. And so Fireline, I'm adding on the AOE, and so there's two purposes that Fireline is serving. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about combat bots. And I'm gonna leave this up for a second. So Fireline is gonna do some AOE. Now, keep in mind, there was, and I do consider this to be a nerf, because the tooltip, the way that it reads, the way that I interpret the tooltip, he should have done some base damage and the AOE damage at the reduced rate. In my opinion, that's the way that I read it. Faceit said that was not the case, but I do think that Fireline paved the way for us to be able to have these acid and fire combos when you get the additional 20%, right? So for me, it's a no-brainer to come in here, and I have full control over this bot. So now he's going to come out there using Fireline. Remember last week, they fixed a problem that he was having where he kept using his passive ability. Now he's using Fireline the entire time. And so if I wanted to multiply that damage, now I can go in here, target an area of walls. There's already going to be fire going in that general direction from, and I actually did it a little bit too early there. There's going to be fire going in that general direction from Fireline. It combos, everything melts. I've been using this in Prime League Wars to completely tear people apart, and it works really well. Right now, I'm about to get stunned by a Star Saber. I don't really care. Like, he's still at full health because of the AOE and the Alchemist Prime Core, and I just keep marching up the battlefield. To me, it's kind of a no-brainer, but a lot of people keep getting stuck on, and I think it's because Space Ape said it months ago when Skids and Knockout first came out. Was around the same time that Brackets and Nightstick came out, and they said, "Oh man, this will pair really well together," and it does. But I feel like it's a more effective combo to do it this way. So that's what I've been doing, and I'll be honest, I don't really debate with people about it. People will try to debate with me about it, but it's something that I just feel like I'm 100% right about, for the considering the way that I build my team off of the concept of individual healing. So yeah, so let me know how you guys been doing it. How have you been using your skids and your knockout? And do you still use Fireline? Because when it first started, and I was telling everybody, after the nerf, I was like, "Hey man, you can get a refund. Should you get a refund for that 5-star?" Yeah, probably you did at the time, but we also didn't know there was gonna be asset meta. So yes, use Fireline, guys. I'm using the 4-star. I believe is level 9. I got him at right now. All right, so let's take a look in the chat again. So Chris Harmon says he has all the 5-star combats in that batch. Yeah, I was playing from behind, man. I was spending all my time trying to get Crater Maker. And then I started realizing, man, there's a lot of other good bots out here. And I've been chasing this bot this whole time for the little bit of chips that I was getting. Big Blade wants to knock out 3-star and Breakdown Prime. Breakdown Prime I actually really like a lot. Like, I don't have to say anything else about Knockout. Everybody knows how I feel about Knockout at this point. He's been my hero. I do believe at some point there's probably going to be some kind of change to. I mean, let's be honest. The counter for acid and fire is already built. It was the fireproof dome power core that the apes had built. They took it away because we had tech tree perks and we had all kinds of things to negate acid and fire. But when they were trying to make acid and fire a meta, The counter's built, if we're being honest. So I would expect to see that again later on, but yeah. Chris Harmon, see, all right, so Chris Harmon made a point in the chat. It's exactly the debate that I've been having with people. And the debate is, so he says, I still like G Metal G1 Cool. Uh, it's got good healing and a damage boost. So my counter to that is this. If I go pair this thing with acid, and if I use this acid ability and I pair it with fire, and I get to 20%. And let's go look at this. Let's go look at this ability up close. And I'm not going to do all the math for you. So maxed out ability 11. I'm sitting up here at 5,289 acid damage. Now I get just for quick public math, we said we get with the G1 maxed out 20 for a knockout and skids G1 cool. You'll get about an additional about a thousand, a little over 1,000. So if I go do 20% with fire damage, and I don't have to use the ability for that, essentially I've made up that damage mathematically, which is how I wound up getting the Alchemist Prime Core, and I wound up getting more healing from that Alchemist Prime Core than I would from the G1 overall. So that's my justification for it. All right, Just Elite has a question, says, Freezy, here's a good question. On 5-star Smokey for a war team, should I run Alchemist or Nexus? To try to keep them alive longer. So, long story short, it depends on the rest of your team build. For me, like, and I know your team build pretty well. We talked about it in the past before, and I know that you use smokescreen on offense and defense, and for that reason, Nexus probably works better for you in your specific circumstance, because you're going to wind up having them popped before that combiner comes out when you're looking at them defensively. Realistically speaking, you got to find a bunch of other different ways there's a bunch of different ways for you to keep his health intact. Like for me and my gunners, what you'll see is that I use individual healing everywhere else. And then the gunner that I use on my team is Brawl, which is Prowl, I believe, for you guys. What I've done is I've let my healer, my actual healer, just focus on Brawl. And Brawl, he rarely dies because the healer only has to focus on him, because I've got brackets on on a couple of different bots. I've got the Alchemist Prime Core, like I just showed you guys on Knockout. I've got the Alchemist Prime Core on Impactor, as you know, because you do the same thing. And so the focus for my healers now diverts itself solely to that healer for the most part. And then, you know, I got a couple I can use, because I use Hook as a healer, so I can go use his special ability. You can use your different protective features, like I use Cutthroat Tracks for you guys. Lots of different ways to maintain that health. So that's really my elaborate answer to that. But, you know, obviously, if you have more questions, hit me up on Discord. All right, Mercenary Terror says, still on the topic of Knockout, he says, I use Alchemist on Scavenger. He has more health than Knockout, but it's not by too much. It's actually, when you get to the higher levels, Scavenger has quite a bit more health than Knockout. To the point that I was actually looking at in Texas Hammer's training chat earlier today, and he had a poster where he was talking about his team that he uses. He uses both. He uses Skids, and he uses Skids, which is Knockout for us, and then he uses Rust Dust, which is Scavenger for us on the same team. The Alchemist goes to Rust Dust, in your case, like you're using Scavenger, because he has more health. And so the recovery factor is going to be larger. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's a great strategy. It's a really, really good strategy. sometimes you just got to figure out what fits best for your team. And um, in this case, it works better for me with knockout and the reason why it works better for me with knockout is because I don't focus as much on the range. I use it on walls. I use it on outpost spots, minions. So I'm always getting that 3 times damage. Always getting that 3 times regen because of that amount of damage. All right, let's uh Professional Husky asked, do I think that all 12 prime cores will be added to the defenses or just selective? I think so. Here's what I think. When you go look at the prime cores, let me pull the defensive ones up. And mathematically, we can just say that I do think that they'll make all of them at some point. What we're really looking at here is they gave us 5 to start out with, and we still have 2 more. It's supposed to be a total of at least 3 phases to HQ18. So I think they'll release more with each phase. Now, I'm not saying that that's not my official response. That's my guess. But I think they'll release more with each. Excuse me. They'll release more with each stage. So, my personal opinion. Let's see. He says, Chris Harmon says, maxed out G Metal G1 at 19.3, 5% healing. So, really no difference. If I add Fireline, I get about 40%, not 20. Yeah, and I say that, and I agree with that too. Um, for me, it just really boiled down to how my particular team was built. Now, keep in mind, I don't have the G1. Now, I've tested it extensively on the test server. So, regardless of anything what happened, I will use Alchemist. But the thing is, for me, in my experience, Alchemist is for me has been very, very difficult to pair to my liking because I'm real protective over my health points. And so when I see an opportunity like that, yeah, I can go get more in certain bots, but then I always use that multiplier. So, and then the other thing is points. Is looking at ability points and ability point use. And so the other part of that for me is looking at conservation of ability points. So that's my rationale. Like I said, I haven't, like I said, I've been debating. I ain't really been debating with people too hard about it, but I think a lot of people's rationale is it has been some short sighted rationale, to be honest. All right, so let's see. So we were talking about combats. And so when we go back into the current big batch, so that means we're gonna have a batch that's gonna have Power Punch, Singe, SG Ravage, Slugfest, and Heartburn. Now I can tell you, and a lot of people are disagree with me on this too. Singe, I absolutely love. I love Singe so much. Like he's one of my favorite combats in the entire game. And honestly, most of the combats in here are pretty good. I'd be kind of irritated if I got Power Punch, which is a road burner or whatever for you guys on the Autobot side. But Singe and Pinpointer, I've gone on record several times as saying it is an amazing bot. And for me, one of the other arguments that I get into is in regards to this dude. So I get into a lot about my pairing for him. So let's talk about that and how I got to that conclusion as well. All right. So the bot I have him on, I got him on Cutthroat. Got him on Cutthroat with, oh no, it's the Quintus Prime Core. You guys are saying that you guys have really watched me. My streams hard. You guys already know what my deal is with this. But let's talk about it. So there's a couple of things that make this into a really good combo. So 10 again. do some farming. All right, so I'm just going to isolate Cutthroat by himself for a second. Now, when you look at the tooltip, one of the things that people get hung up on, and it happens all the time, anytime you mention the word walls, people are going to get upset because they're saying, oh, well, he's not focusing on walls, he's going around them. So it's two things with that. The first part of that is the meta at the time when he came out, everybody was doing like they were splitting out bases a little bit. And now we're going more back toward time trap bases and bases that where the walls are closed back off again. Now a lot of people will make the argument that, oh, just shoot over the walls. Well, I mean, what if I don't want to? What if I want to go use knockout and knock the walls down? What if I want to use Galvatronus and knock the walls down, and then I can go path through there much easier? What if I want to use Singe, and now that time traps are available again, I can start using his, what is it, 8 times more damage towards walls, while the rest of the bots shoot over the stuff over the walls and take out the stuff that's in the backside. It's a lot of options there. And what gets hung up for a lot of people is they get upset because they say, well, you know, Singe and Pinpointer, they don't like because of the path and issues. But as you can see right there, when there's something on the other side of the wall, he takes out the wall faster. So he can be path. Well, the other part is Cutthroat has animations where he throws smoke bombs. So if you use him with the team, he can actually stay in place for quite a while. The other thing with the Quintus core, everybody says that's a blaster and Soundwave core, and it does work really well. It is very, very effective. But from a number standpoint, it just doesn't make as much sense when I got this bot and like Cutthroat and Tracks that can protect himself whenever he gets ready to, and then he's healing himself, and you can see he's not taking very much damage. He's right now, he's in zone 14. He's just doing his own thing. I can speed him up. I can get even more healing. 15% off of the ability 11 smoke. He speeds up, more damage, more healing. He's getting some protection from the Quintus core. And let's be honest, a lot of people say they want to try to play the health side of the Quintus Prime core and make the sharks last longer. Bro, the sharks only last for 7 seconds anyway, no matter what you do. So my counter argument is this: you're gonna go get more damage, you're gonna go get more healing with this pairing than you're gonna go get with Pterodactyl Taraxodon. So why not do it? Mercenary Terror says, is Cutthroat your official favorite character? No, he's not. But people keep arguing with me about him. They're my official favorite character. Uh, Probably like in-game wise right now, it's probably got to be Knockout. If I'm being honest, like as an in-game character, Impact is up there. But yeah, just for good measure. Going back to the thing we were talking about, Amalgamous. So Chris Harmon says he keeps Amalgamous on Cola Gun and Alchemist on Scavenger. Yeah, those are good picks. Those are great picks, actually. And I was talking with Laura Davis a couple of weeks ago, and one of the things he was saying, he uses his Amalgamous on Cola Gun, or Quella Gun, excuse me, and he has Armada Megatron, which is Laser Optimus for you guys on the Autobot side. On his war team, he's got a couple of folks on his war team that could easily use that Amalgamous Prime Core. But to be honest, it's better on Quellagon for both offense and defense. So by all means, leave it there. Alchemist on Scavenger works wonders. So definitely not mad at that. But let's see. So yeah, in that batch, and I'm actually going to pick up the pace on this a little bit because um, Slugfest. So, I saw some comments in there talking about Slugfest and SG Ravage being really good, and they are. They're absolutely phenomenal. I like SG Ravage more because I like the smoke that you get from it. Um, Slugfest, when you go look at the damage that it actually does, I'm gonna go to my test account real quick because when you look at the damage it does, uh, what I find interesting is that people always talk about how they don't use battle boosts, which I'm going to talk about soon in the near future. People don't use battle boosts, but when you go give a battle boost on a combat every 10 seconds, then there's like it's amazing. It's not even as much a boost as it is a boost. So 478 damage per second every 10 seconds, but it has a 400% increase. So that'll put them, let's see, that put them like 1900 something in like the high 19s. Let's go take a look at the actual battle boost. So now it's doing it every 10 seconds. I get that, but it's something that I don't really have any control over. This Joker can run up to the front of the base and start hitting, alloy storage. Is that something that's good for me at that point? So that's all I'm saying. Good measure. Look at orbital strike itself. So you only get it once, but you get a little bit more. You get it's about 33% more. The maxed out version. I forgot I blanked out for a second. Slugfest. All right, I'm just gonna stay on the test server because I'm probably gonna do a couple of demonstrations. Let's see. So in Legacy 1, I've got all these bots. Now I'm on the test account right now, but on my live server, I have all of these guys. I had to clear the batch to get Greater Maker. I was talking to some players the other day. They was like talking about like, hey, Greater Maker's not very good anymore. And it's not that Greater Maker's not good. It's that you have other range combat options available. You have Fireline, you have Fracas. And so you got 8 spots on your team. Well, is it really unreasonable for you to say, hey, I'm going to use 2 Fracas, 2 Firelines, and then the rest of your guys might be melee bots? And we got Rook Light has joined the chat. Thanks for joining. So I've got all of these guys. All of them had their purposes. All of them are really good, but they started making better versions of all of those. And Mike Berge has joined the chat, and he actually agrees with me. Yeah, Greater Maker's still good. And here's the thing: if you have the other ranged options, you can use them for sure. What I say, it's nothing that's going to stop me from saying if I want to take a chat and make them, and I want to use Greater Maker and Flak and use it with Primer. Yeah, that it's a good combo, to be honest. So this is the batch that I want to chase if I can get Fracas early, and it's gonna be Legacy 2. Fireline I already talked about, right? One that's been getting slept on a little bit. I'm gonna talk about the bots I don't want from the batch. I don't want Overkill. That's Dial for you guys on the Autobot side. I don't want Shroot, which is wrong for you guys on the Autobot side. I do want Fireline. I do want Caliburst, and I will accept Razor Sharp if he comes before the other two, because I can use him on defense. Go pull up some stats. And Rook like says he's not sure that Black is good. Do me a favor and give me your reason why in the comments. my good buddy Trap. I didn't shout him out yet. Is in the chat, and he says, "Oh, a Caliburst Fireline sermon is incoming." Yeah, man, no, a Caliburst Fireline sermon is incoming because people keep telling me that these are not good combat bots, especially with Fireline. They're like, "Oh, he's been nerfed," and that's the thing. When you see that something has been nerfed, and a lot of times I ask people, I say, "Have you tried it?" Oh man, well, it's been nerfed. He sucks now. Have you tried it? Nah, man, Did you try it? Nah, I ain't tried it. Did you try it since Acid came out? You already had the bot. Like I already had I think mine was like level 7 Fireline. And I started using them with Acid. I said, man, this is pretty good. So I bumped them up 2 more levels as a 4-star. You know, that's a I'm always gonna ask you, and it's not because I'm trying to be mean to you. I'm gonna ask you, did you try it when something gets nerfed to see if it was good or bad? Gregory Miller joined the chat. Thanks for joining. Big Blade says people say to put flak on blades. So for us on the con side, he's talking about Crater Maker and Dirge. But he says Fireline is 4-star Fireline blades, or the top shot he's talking about is on 5-star blades. That works too, to be honest. It really does. So you can kind of use those interchangeably, just depending on what you want to try to get out of them damage wise. But yeah, a lot of people say Crater Maker on Jet, Fireline on Gunner is Mike Burke is saying is the choice, and that's what most people do. But on Flyers, a lot of people like to do Crater Maker. Me, it really depends. It really depends on my team. All right, let's talk Caliburst real quick. 5-star, 2 times damage to targets under fire, under acid, under EMP, or speed reduction. Right, so we already know fire and acid is the meta, 100%. So why would I not use something that's going to multiply? Now, a lot of people are getting hung up on these clusters with the shield generator, the Micronus core. A lot of times they'll put even the Liege Maximal defensive core around these things so it repels you if you get too close. Why would you not want to go use something that's going to make this faster for you? 2 times damage. The 4-star gets 1.5 damage standard. 5-star, 2 times more damage to targets under. And dude, it's a lot of stuff. It's fire, it's acid, it's EMP. You about to get an EMP Titan. You got a Titan perk that provides slowdown. Why would you not use this and get your 2 times damage? And I think it's because there's no area of effect. There's no AoE for him. And so people have labeled him as garbage. If you have Caliburst already, use them. It's going to be really effective in this meta. If you got pulls left in batch 2, got nothing else to do with your time, go into batch 2, full Caliburst. He's got range. Trap is talking about the range. I didn't even talk about that. So let's take a look at it. I'll show you what I've been doing, because the range is going to, I believe on that one it changes depending on what bot is equipped with. So what I did, I put it on my gunner. And when you look at the range, it's still going to be extra long range because I put it on the gunner. Problem solved. And then I use Fireline like I've been using on Knockout. So yeah, the range does vary, so it becomes an issue. Put them on the gunner, problem solved. Everybody stays back. So I'll run through the batches that I absolutely am not going to talk about. I mean, I'm not going to pick up. And I'll tell you why real quick. Let's see. Oops, I actually want to go to the back cells now. my least favorite of them all is Legacy 3. Gatorface would be cool. It's a nice to have, especially now that I've got so that's glitch for you guys on the Autobot side. So I got Octo Punch. For all you Octo Punch and Sea Spray users, you could use glitch, Gatorface respectively, and that'll be good. You can all for you breakneck and smokescreen users also. Just a lot of different gunners that you're trying to protect. That's a good option. That goes back to Just Elite's question earlier about ways to protect them. One of the ways you can protect them is to keep them back as far as you can. Double Crosser I like as a support piece for my Warrior class bots. I actually was using them on Blot for a little bit. I know what a lot of the Blot and Rook users was like, man, like don't do that. He's not good, but he's got, I think it's like a 19% for the 4-star protection for everybody around him. So I like that. Split I like, and when you looked at my video last year when I was talking about combat bots, he was in my top 10, and he works well with my process of trying to individually heal everybody. There's so many good attacking minion combats that I can't justify it as much anymore. Sights is a okay gunner type combat. So we talking about Sights, and who is, I can't remember the Autobot counterpart for Sights. It'll come back to me. But yeah, I mean he's okay. He's really okay. Top heavy. I was thinking of, and Bomb Shock. I mean, it just isn't good. And dude can go up there and do damage to a couple of shock towers and everything, additional damage. But nah, man, like nobody's sitting there running in fear from the shock towers like that. That's where I'm at. That. And I'm getting a couple of head nods in there. A couple of people like glitch on smoke screen, and it does work really well. A lot of people like glitch on sea spray. Man, and this is a tough one for me. So Legacy 4, Aimless, I'm not really high on. I think when they started saying, hey, we can make a laser Optimus or a modern Megatron ability that anybody could use on from a combat, it would be cool. Bro, it's not cool. Like it's okay at best. The rest of these guys I like a lot. Giza, and Dazzle Strike I like a lot. Fangtron and Shieldron I like a lot. Sunbot and Air Razor I like a lot. Vertebrake and Rat Trap I like a lot. Here's the problem. With the exception of Tunbot, Air Razor, and Tunbot, I think you get a pretty good boost as a 5-star. Actually, he showed a video about 4 or 5 months ago where Tunbot took out like zone 13, and I think some zone 14s by itself. But for the most part, for what I need them to do, like if you use Tunbot and Giza, Dazzle Strike on defense, their job can be done as a 4-star. If we're being honest, now you're just trying to get the extra boost. So there's no reason for me to pursue this patch, in my opinion. But enough about that. I actually want to go in here. Want to show off new that a little. Let's talk about Groundhog concept. So that's going to be Big Daddy for you guys on the Autobot side. See, Robert says he got Tunbot as his first 5-star. That's pretty cool. That's one that works. It works really well on both sides, offense and defense. So let's take a look at new combat bot. I say on Decepticon side, it's gonna be Groundhog. Like I said, for you guys on the bot side, it's gonna be Big Daddy. And so I got the maxed out 5-star version right there. So at level 10, he's doing, and like I said, this is still in test. It is subject to change, but 19,872 health right now, deals 280 damage. Um, Now, that said, if you use it against bots and you use it against combiners, then it does quadruple DPS. When I see anything says that it, and this is why I love Razor Sharp, to be honest, and why I was going to use him. It does damage against bots and combiners. So when somebody does damage against bots and combiners, that automatically tells me to go use them on defense because they're only going to attack bots and combiners when they're on defense. So let's take a look at it. Let's see how it works. So here, Armada Megatron right up there in the front outpost. He's ability 11, so he's gonna stun the guys. And then on top of that, this this combat bot going to pop out and do some additional damage. Let's take a look at that particular case. I'll use a good strong bot. I'll go use actor, and I'm just gonna let him walk for a little bit. You can see. So and I've got I actually prevented the stun because I had my combat in there. I had vertebrae in there. With the assistance of that combat, it really chewed him up quickly. I mean, you got other defenses in there too, but I mean, let's just drop another bot. 4 times damage, and now I actually had a Lyokaiser come out. Does quite a bit of damage. Full combat bot. Not bad. So it's a good little complimentary piece. Just kind of go in there and chip away at him, and he's got good health, so he can last quite a bit. So I actually love him defensive bot. I'm gonna try him on offense. See how he looks there. Gregory Miller says he's looking forward to the new combat. Yeah, I think it's gonna be pretty good. And what I want to start doing for myself as part of my batch break strategy is I want to start preparing myself so that I can go and get future combats. And so I'm gonna have to hoard in order to do. I'm gonna try something. I'm not saying this is the way you should do it. I just want to try something different. I'm actually gonna put Groundhog Leozak just because he was available. Try to drop him as a minion. A lot of times I'll drop my minion, some type of aerial attack. But yeah, let me know in the comments who are some of your favorite combat bots, man. I really like all of the combat bots from almost all of the combat bots from like the last year. Attack. Didn't really have the range needed. So let's take a look at this guy here. And so he's getting some help from the Titan over here. I just want to just kind of watch him work for a little bit. The dude's doing, he's getting a lot of help from the Titan. But his damage is okay. His damage is really, really good. against those bots though. You can clearly see the difference between when he was fighting other bots. He's fighting defenses and stuff like that. With his damage, I mean his health as he takes damage, it's really, really good. I think if they keep this bot this way, I think they did a really good job with this bot the Space Ape team did. So yeah. Robert Jettison Wait says I always lose at least one bot to sidetrack when I attack bases. So I might get wiped by this new bot when they appear. I think that's the point, man. I think that if you start using these bots defensively, you now have multiple defensive options depending on the way your base is built. You could use Giza and Dazzle Strike when you have all of your walls closed to try to draw them in to the defenses. You can use for your if you get a melee bot, you can use Razor Sharp. You can use a bunch of different bots. If we're being honest, um, so Growl, Sidetrack, you can definitely use Groundhog. You can definitely use Groundhog and Big Daddy. So yeah. But all right, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna try to go work. It's gonna be tough for me this weekend, but I'm gonna try to work some videos. Hopefully, I can try to get you guys something Sunday-ish. If I don't get a chance to work on it tomorrow, like I said, my youngest boy got a basketball tournament this weekend. That's an all-day thing, all day Saturday. So, and I'm still gonna be in between his games. I'm gonna be working on the event. Trap says the Growl and Groundhog are gonna spike knockout ability points used. Yeah, I mean they should. If people know what's good for them, they should. But so I'll see you guys whenever I drop that next video. I'll try to put something on my community tab and in my Discord server, letting you know, because I like to try to go do premieres when I do videos, and I've already got the stuff scripted out. I just need to actually go in there and record it. So I'll see you in the next video. I'll see you on the next live stream next Wednesday at 6 Eastern. See you guys on the battlefield. Freezius out.